Hey guys, so I'm here with another Recent Reads video. So just like in the other two videos, I'm going to format this the same way in terms of least enjoyed to most enjoyed. But I do have to say, out of the 5 books in this video I'm going to talk about, I actually liked all of them a lot. The only one I didn't like is the first one, which I will just jump right into, I guess. So I didn't even give this one a rating because I didn't really know how to feel about it, and I even waited on it and I still wasn't getting any clarity with what I wanted to rate it. But it's Ask Again Yes, and this is like, I don't even know, it's like a family drama, coming of age in one aspect, generational story about this family. Actually, these two families, they live in New York, and there's like a Romeo Juliet, I don't know what you call it, kind of situation between the two children from these families, and you're just following these families, and specifically the children of these families as they grow up and even grow into adults, and just the changes that they go through. With this one on audio, and I just genuinely don't really know what I think about it. Like I think I liked it okay. I know this one has a lot of praise, so if you've probably heard about it, Ask Again Yes. If you're still interested, obviously read it, but it just didn't really like blow me away in any sense, and so unfortunately that is at the bottom of my list, but I still don't have a rating for it, so I don't know, it's just a big question mark. So now we're gonna get into 4-star reads. So I'm going to talk about Serpent Dove. I finally read this book and I really enjoyed this. This book came out last year and I tried to read it last year, and then my dog actually kind of ate the book, like not even joking, from the library, and I was 100 or something pages in and I returned it. Well, I just had to go give it back to them, and luckily they didn't charge me a fine because they had enough books in circulation because it was a new book and they ordered a lot of copies, so I got really lucky there. But I never finished it. I just felt like I couldn't check it out again because I don't know, I just felt really guilty. So I got it through the Libby app and I really did end up liking this. This is a new adult witch type fantasy taken in like a historical kind of setting, France. It's basically about this witch who lives her life in secret. Witches are hunted in this society, and she's kind of forced into a marriage with like the lead anti-witch person who works for the church, and they're kind of forced into a marriage and he doesn't know that she's a witch, so obviously that's a huge big thing. There was like definitely a strong hate to love element with this because they despised each other. Even though he didn't know she was a witch, he definitely just despises her for who she is, because she's a very carefree person. She doesn't like to be told what to do, she curses, she's just like the opposite of what a woman is supposed to be according to him. So it's a really fun time. I really liked our main female character. Definitely going to be reading the sequel to this series. Another 4-star read was Ties That Tether. I got this one in my book of the month, and this one I enjoyed. It was like a contemporary romance about a Nigerian woman who now lives in Canada, and on her father's deathbed she promised him that she would marry a Nigerian man. That's what her father always wanted for her because they were moving to Canada. They didn't want her to lose herself or her heritage. But she ends up having a one-night stand with this Spanish man and starts to slowly fall in love with him, and he turns up at her work. He actually starts working for their company and they work together on a project and slowly fall in love. But this whole while she has this family obligation, and her mother is dead set against her dating anyone who is not Nigerian. So there's a big rift obviously with what she wants and what her expectations are from her family. So I really enjoyed this one. It did feel like very episodic in ways, like we would get a scene and then the next chapter would say 1 month later we're here, and 1 month later we're now here. So it kind of cut the flow a little bit, and I feel like I just wanted more from the story. It was pretty short. I feel like this is a book that could have like been a lot longer and it wouldn't have felt that long because there was just so much that happened, and I felt like we were just going from one big revelation or thing to the next, so it didn't hit the same way because I wasn't as invested in the characters. So I enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to read more from this author. It's definitely not like the best contemporary romance or anything like that, but I'm still supportive of what this author is going to write because I think she has it. I just wanted more from the story than what's given. So this one actually 4.5 stars. This is Calibans War. This is book 2 in the Expanse series, and I really enjoyed this one. I may have enjoyed it more than the first book only because I already had the base knowledge for the type of world that this series is dealing with, and that made me able to get into the story that much quicker. Like I feel like honestly by the first chapter I was just put right into the action and I was there for it. Like that's what I wanted. It carried the action well throughout the whole book. These are longer-ish books and I still flew through this in just a few days because it was just so good and kept my attention so well. So I'm for sure going to be finishing this series. I'm not gonna rush to finish it, but now they're all available through Libby, so I'm very excited that I'll actually be able to read them through my library that way, and I don't have to get the physical book because I'm still like a little hesitant about physical books from the library. But I really did love this one. My husband's cousin is the one who got me the first book in the series, and he said like the third book and after it's just like a whole different ball game. So I'm really excited to see what he's talking about, because I feel like this book already had so many different things that happened. So I'm really curious to see where this goes, but I think it's just gonna be a lot of fun. My final book that I want to talk about in this recent reads video was my favorite book, and I give it 5 stars, and that's Troubled Blood by Robert Galbraith. This is the 4th or the 5th book, I don't remember which, in the Cormoran Strike series. Each of these books follows a different mystery murder kind of case. This one is different because it actually follows a cold case that's been 40 years dead. So this woman, middle-aged woman, approaches Cormoran and says she wants to know what happened to her mother. Her mother died when she was 1. Her mother left work, she was supposed to meet a friend for a drink, and she never showed up. She never, like, she just straight disappeared. They thought that she was the victim of the serial killer that time, but it was never confirmed. And so she just really wants some answers about what actually happened to her mother. So she hires Cormoran, but it's a lot different from the other books because like a lot of their leads and a lot of their people they're suspicious of, first of all, harder to find them because it's been so long, and a lot of them have also died. So they're getting second and third hand information. I just feel like there was a lot to this book that made it super intriguing. There was a heavy element on zodiacs and what's it called, like astrology, I think is the word I'm going for, because the cop who originally was investigating this case kind of had a whole mental breakdown, and he kept these really crazy notes, and he was obsessed with people's star signs, and he was tying that into this case, and it got really wild. So I think this book was fantastic. It was huge, but it definitely didn't feel long to me. Like I enjoyed all of it. Every time I sat down to read it, time just flew by and I loved it. I love our main characters, Cormoran and Robin. I think they are such a good team, and I love just seeing the business of their detective agency and how it's grown over like these book series and how it's now so successful and it's well known, and I love seeing that development. So I really enjoyed this book, and that is going to end this video. If you've read any of these, definitely chat with me about them in the comments below. But thank you so much for watching, and happy reading.